This is Discover Crypto. I'm your host, DZ. You might know me as Nick Valdez. Today, we got a major show for you. Today, we got to talk about a bear flag we mentioned yesterday, but today it looks like it's starting to come true. We are creating the flagpole for a $67,000 Bitcoin. We're going to go into the charts. We're going to look at that. We have major news with Cardano. Midnight launch has happened as well, and some insane stuff coming out behind the scenes with the U.S. banks and Bitcoin specifically. And we're going to cover 21 from Jack Mahler. Smash the like button there, everybody. How are we doing today? Get your questions in. I'll answer all your questions towards the end of the show. And this is the Bitcoin daily bear flag that we were talking about. We covered this extensively yesterday. But in typical fashion, Bitcoin decided to change structure from this morning. Folks, I promise you, this morning I'm doing my research. We're hanging out. We're in this area right here. I'm like, oh my God, the bull flag, or the bear flag rather, the pole is forming. Bitcoin saw me being bearish and decided to pump. Now, we do have some longs in. The trading in the Discord is just going off phenomenally. So I did get a long in Cardano. We'll look at Cardano price action here. Let's get back to this daily flagpole. You can see Bitcoin really just hedging back and forth between the bottom of this range. When you go to the 1 hour chart, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So potentially forming, a downward spiral or potentially setting up a reversal. Let's cover the downward spiral first, though, because this is a pretty scary target. Now, when we go ahead and lower the pole from this potential area where it's breaking down, get a $63,000 Bitcoin. Some people are going to do it from the top of the range there. It gives us the $69,000 Bitcoin. And if you really wanted to be loose with this wick, that'll give you a $67,000 Bitcoin. So that's what we're seeing on the larger time frames. When we go in the small time frames, though, you see Bitcoin putting in a nice little move. And folks, I got to tell you about this weekly RSI. We have done the research. This weekly RSI is not doing what you think it's going to do, folks. Let's just say there's some saying once we hit it, another 50% move down. But what if I found something in the charts that maybe says that's not quite accurate? But thank you for joining, everybody. It's going to zero. Yeah, maybe not. Sure, if we get a solar flare and every electronic is fried, well, there's going to be some dork who has it, on the dark side of the moon, some sort of node spinning up. So it's never going to zero. Bitcoin will not go to 63K until the middle of next year. So he is saying 63K is coming, just not when you think. But this is a long-term target, and you're saying middle of next year. If we look at when the RSI first came to this level, do we bottom out near 7 months later? We bottom out 7 months later. Almost exactly. 210 days would be 7 months. Let's just move it one more week. We bottom 7 months later. So you're saying we're not going to see it for 7 months. This chart is saying it could happen in 7 months. We're going to dive into it in a little bit. Now, first, let's look at the rest of the market. Let's hit refresh. Probably got some green candles, baby. We can see Bitcoin in the green, 1.3%. Cardano, we're longing it. Got the long from the Discord. It is up 6.3%. I have it on my home computer because this was a call that we got about 7 a.m. in the Discord from our Trading Signals chat there. We have a Chinese quant. This guy has been crushing it. He puts his weekly results up. I missed a couple trades at like 4 a.m., but we are in on the 7 a.m. trade there. When we look at the big gainers, Zcash, Tau, and Cardano, feel kind of good. I got all three of these. I don't hold any meme core, and I probably will refuse to ever hold WorldCoin, even though I promise you this coin is probably going to be one of the bigger gainers of 2026. We have Sky's up, Atom is up, Arb is up, and Shiba Inu. Someone said, that sleeping dog, let's take it to the pet cemetery, because it's coming back like the Stephen King novel. It's going to come back with a glint in its eye, and it's going to have an evil malice within its heart. Well, look at the big losers here. Speaking of evil malice, we have Pepe. That thing's been a little too hot this week. And Aave also been a little too hot this week. And then we have Hype, just losing a lot of the hype. Tron, Leo Token, Monero, Solana. Solana, also one of the big losers, and Athena. But we'll consider that one of the hot coins of the week. It's up 15%. It was up nearly 20%. It needs to pull back slightly there. And we keep scrolling. I mean, you have some of the usual suspects. Bitcoin Cash, it's not green today. So that means we might be green tomorrow. Beta is going to reject. It is at these levels. I have some Cardano charts. I have two head and shoulders, like a conjoined twin. And I'm going to show you some Cardano charts. I don't know if I should say that. Is Night not listed yet? It is on Binance Alpha which is known for having a lot of the exchanges. Binance Alpha, not Binance Global, not Binance US, specific Binance exchange there. And it is on some of the other exchanges. We're going to look at Midnight as well. Ridiculous crypto. It's ridiculous. Not more of you are hitting the like button. So go ahead and smash that like. Let's get into the stories here, folks. Number one, got to talk about the bear flag. Yes, we pointed out yesterday, but like we said, it's starting to confirm. And so that's why we're covering it here. Now, BTC USD pair has formed a bear flag on the daily chart. A daily candlestick below the lower boundary at 90K may open the way for a drop towards the measured target 67,000 or near the 2021 price top. This would represent a 25% drop from the current price. What do we have on the daily candles? We have 8 hours and 23 minutes as we speak. So it was about 8 hours away from confirmation. The bulls trying to keep it above this range, trying to keep it inside the parallel channel. Let's get back to the article here. Indicators, MACD and RSI, extremely oversold. This movement allows them to cool off so we can continue our downtrend, referencing the consolidation inside the flag. Colin talks crypto. He talked a little crypto here, and he said, although the move down would be expected outcome from the flag's validation, 74, 77 likely be the bottom. That would be the likeliest bottom, and he would expect a powerful rebound if such a level is breached. He's expecting such a powerful rebound. Charles Barkley and who's the guy that paints his hair? Dennis Rodman. I mean, they were looking at that in awe, folks. They were just totally enamored by the strong rebound there. But let's talk about this RSI. I found something I think that seems scary on its surface. But when you dig, when you scratch at the surface, scratching at the surface here, you find something. I got embedded inside of my fingernails. I found a little bullishness. Why did he smell his finger? What is he doing over there? What did he do this morning? That's the real question. All right, let's talk about this RSI though. 36 on the RSI. My RSI metric, I think, has it at 32. So 32 on mine, 36 on this one. 36. We've only touched this particular level only 5 times in history. 2015 bear market, 2018 bear market, 2020 crash, 22 bear market. And we've hit it now. But there's a comment that says, yes, but last time we dumped another 50% after the first touch. And the person who made it is like, yeah, you're right. Doesn't mark the bottom. In fact, it marks that we're going to keep crashing. So are we going to crash another 50%? What does the weekly RSI tell us? Like I said, folks, I found something nobody is mentioning here. So looking on the weekly, let's go ahead and ascertain the facts first. All right, so you can see it right here. We've bounced in. Honestly, we've recovered here. A pretty strong recovery, but might not be out of the woods here. Here you can see, all right, here's another RSI. We dip below. This is where we get, we continue to fall another 50% largely. Let's pull up the measuring stick. Fellas, why you got the measuring stick out? That fell in another 50%. It doesn't really look like it, but yeah, I mean, that's a quick move from 50 to 30 there. There you can see a little bit closer to 50%. Keep going. We came close, but we bounced before we got near. Then we got right here. Let's go ahead and do this one. Was this a 50% fall as well? Because this is telling me I need to be bearish. This is telling me, oh my God, 60K, maybe even lower. Another 50% fall. It happened again, folks. Now let's do it one more again. And we go right here is when it first touched it. I mean, we would wick, Jesus Christ, stop dumping Bitcoin. Stop making me bearish because I haven't given people the bullish hopium yet. And then we have another close rejection. So you're going to see circles when we exceed it. And then I put some purple boxes, some rectangles when we bounce near it. So here you can see rectangle number 1. That's a little bit of a bounce. Rectangle number 2, we got close. That was a bounce. Rectangle number 3 is this one right here. Also, pretty much a bounce. But let me show you something here, folks. So when we crash below the 32 level or the 36 level, yeah, we go down another 50%, another 60%. But when there's a sharp V-shaped reversal right above this line, that is the Pico bottom. And so when you're saying, oh, well, it never marks the Pico bottom for 36, it does mark the Pico bottom for 37, 38 sometimes. Here you can see Pico bottom, sharp recovery. And I mean, that is an insane recovery if I'm just going to be honest here. Oh my gosh. Bitcoin's on X Games mode. And if we look right here, I mean, I'll even go up a little bit. I don't want to try to change the math. That's 100X. Okay, so Bitcoin did 100x. Now that's going to be early in Bitcoin's history. So let's go to this area right here. If you look right there, that was a Pico bottom. That was a V-shaped reversal in which Bitcoin would never see that lower price again. And then that takes us to right here. Are we potentially seeing the V-shaped Pico bottom recovery? In my heart of hearts, my bullish heart, I say yes. I say yes. Now, if this RSI turns back over, yeah, sure, it's invalidated. I changed my tune. I get new information, and then I change my assessment, okay? That's what you should be doing. So maybe RSI does this. And then in case, yeah, we're going to probably crash lower. We're probably going to go into this area right here if that happens. But maybe, just maybe, this was the bottom, folks, and we are going to see the reversal. And then all the bears are going to feel like they were sidelined because they didn't make any purchases in the 80s like we did. I'm buying that $11 chain link. I'm this close to buying some more Cardano. And you know what? We did scoop up a little bit of Bitcoin when we dipped below 90. That's why you got to have some dry powder on the sidelines there, folks. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better when you're looking at the RSI. Are altcoins cooked forever? I'm going to pull up the Bitcoin dominance. And there's something with the 50-week or I think it's the 50-week moving average that is very, very important for altcoins. And I'll tell you what that 50-week moving average is going to do just about 5 minutes here. Let's see here. Sailor will buy the blank out of it. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. No V-shaped recovery. Tuber hopium. I think we have a mixed bag with data. And I think if you say, well, I know for sure it's going to look like this, and I know for sure it won't look like that, I think maybe you're a viewer doomer. Okay. Yeah, I'll turn it around on you. I'm the tuber hoper. I'm the tuber hoper. You're the viewer doomer. Okay. So yeah, I would say there's not enough data. I don't think we know for sure what this is going to look like, folks. So that's just my 2 cents there. We'll run over. At the end of the day, the values are all going lower. There's a lot of people who feel that way. There's a lot of people who feel that way. Maybe it is a little copium. Maybe I'm huffing like gold paint inside of a sock, but you know what? That's just me. I lean a little bullish here. Now, this is an interesting theory. I don't even say theory. It's kind of backed by data. Why is Bitcoin always dumping at 10 a.m. when the U.S. market opens? What do we have here? Go to the 20-minute. 10 a.m. It pumped. Maybe I shouldn't even read this. Basically, zero. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. I maybe came up with something. Maybe because this went a little viral. It's almost 700,000 views. This went a little viral. Maybe that's why it pumped. It pumped exactly at 10 a.m. That's the 10 a.m. candle right there. Let's dive into this, folks. This might be a little bit of manipulation, folks. So we always dump at 10 a.m. until today, suspiciously. Today, it raised 16 hours of gains in 20 minutes. Since early November, it dumps most of the time right at 10 a.m. Happened in Q2, happened in Q3. Zero Hedge been calling it out repeatedly. He thinks Jane Street is the most likely entity doing this. When you look at the chart, it's too consistent to ignore. Clean wipeout within an hour of the market opening, followed by slow recovery. And it fits their profile. One of the largest high-frequency trading firms in the world, they have the speed and liquidity to move markets for a few minutes. This is what happens. This is the playbook. You dump Bitcoin at 10 a.m., you push the price into the low liquidity pockets, then it hits your liquidity, and you re-enter lower, and you repeat this daily. And by doing this, they've accumulated billions in Bitcoin. And now they have $2.5 billion worth of BlackRock's IBIT ETF, their 5th largest position. That means most of the dump of Bitcoin isn't due to macro weakness, but manipulation by Jane Street, where Sam Bankman-Fried got his start. One major entity. If these big players are done with buying, Bitcoin will continue its upward momentum. Jane Street is a very well politically connected Wall Street trading firm. It does lean a certain way ideologically. Let's just say, Sam Bankman-Fried, through the strength of his mom's connections, he was able to get a position there. Plus, he was good at math. Let's not sleep on the guy's math abilities. But Jane Street is well known for being the insiders trading club of Wall Street. So interesting theory. Now, this is kind of answering a question. How come all these people are buying, but the price ain't soaring? In fact, they're buying and I'm left crying. So what is going on? Why is this happening here? And even Andrew Tate, he entered the fray here. He has his own post. Sailor buys $1 billion. Bitmine buys 450 million in ETH. Market's still dumping. What the F is happening here? Here's another I'm huge on Bitcoin. A MicroStrategy buys 10,000 in a single day and the price doesn't move. Explain that to me. Adam Livingston, good follow. I would recommend following this guy. They didn't buy it in a single day. Well, what's going on here? Here's a quote tweet that more explains they didn't buy in a single day. They don't understand how OTC desks work, over the counter desk works, how it allows them to move Bitcoin without moving the chart. OTC matches buyers and sellers off exchange. If a fund wants 5,000, or say Michael Saylor wants 10,000 Bitcoin, the desk starts hunting for the miners, the whales, the VCs, market makers, and distress holders who want to unload. None of it goes through the order books, so the chart never reacts. They also, miners selling block rewards, VCs offloading tokens, market makers rotating, corporate treasuries rebalancing. All of this happens behind closed doors, and they're never filled at once. This large request, whether it's MicroStrategy or elsewhere, might take weeks. They collect the supply piece by piece and then match it when enough size is found. This avoids any visible price spike. So when you say, yeah, it's not in a single day, this is the mechanisms of the OTC that allows them to accumulate while keeping the price, let's just say, unreactive. But there's two sides to this coin. It allows the people to sell 5,000 Bitcoin without the market being reactive. So I wouldn't just point the finger and yell out demon and grab your pitchforks and your fiery torches just yet. We're not marching on Dr. Frankenstein's little hut just yet, folks. All right, only know Bitcoin above 92K. Ada gang, thank you for the repost on X. If you guys are reposting, I do appreciate it. Are you still down OPP? Yeah, you know me. Now hit that LIKE, everybody. Nice title. Well, we did talk about the bear flag at the top of the show. If you missed it, definitely rewind there. No one's worried about Bitcoin. It's the irrational money in altcoins instead. Well, I'm going to lead us to the altcoin narrative in a second. We'll have a green day because most of the posts stayed in the crash. Mostly the opposite happens there. I think it's 21 Capital. I think 21 Capital, we said this yesterday, 21 Capital is launching on the New York Stock Exchange today. Typically, when there's a large crypto IPO, price pumps. Is it market makers? Probably. If I had a $10 billion IPO, I'm not sure their exact IPO size, but if I had a $10 billion IPO and I could pay a market maker, a couple $1,000,000 maybe, or maybe even less, hey, give me a green candle. Yeah, I would do that. I don't want my CEO to go on to MSNBC, Fox Business News and say, well, Bitcoin's down 4% today. Blah, 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 blah. No, give me some green candles. So when we do our press tour, everything is copacetic there. All right, let's talk about a bear market. I know you're bear hold. I know you stupid bear holes. You're bear hold right now. But are you actually paying attention to the markets? We're in the middle of what looks like a promising cyclical recovery that began earlier in the year. Markets are implying we may be similar to rough 2016 or late 2020. And if you ask Ben Cowan, we're definitely in a similar pattern to 2019. I don't make the rules. I just observe the charts. And here he is just looking at the market implied business cycle index. And if you look, that was a Bitcoin bull run, the middle of 2020 into 2021, first quarter of the year. That was a Bitcoin bull run. And if you look right here, 2016 into, you could play with it a little bit, into this area right here, that was also a Bitcoin bull run. Let's say the business cycle is why we have the 4-year cycle. And I got an article kind of breaking it down. The only reason, I don't know if I agree with this, the only reason 4-year cycle made sense because it coincided with the business and liquidity cycle, which hasn't started yet, but is about to start. I have an article with a little more nuance. We also got Bernstein, not the Bears, that's Bernstein. Bernstein, one of the top independent research firms on Wall Street, just published a note saying 4-year cycle is dead. It's done. Put it in the casket. All right. Bitcoin is entering an extended bull cycle, peaking in 2027 around 200K. This is according to Bernstein here. Let's talk about Grayscale's analysis. This kind of gives a little nuance on why this is a dead narrative. So the halving-driven pricing pattern that shaped Bitcoin's early history is losing power. This is something I've been saying since 2021. As more Bitcoin enter circulation, each halving has a smaller relative impact. I felt like I said this for 2 years before I heard anyone mention it. But interest rate expectations, bipartisan crypto regulatory momentum, and integration into institutional portfolios are increasingly shaping the 2025 narrative for Bitcoin. Bitcoin halvings, which take place approximately every 4 years, 3 years, 10 months, reduce the issuance of new Bitcoin by 50%. In the past, the supply reduction consistently preceded major bull markets. 2012, 2016, 2020. But we didn't see it in 2024, at least on the normal timeline. However, this is the point I finally feel, I won't say vindicated. I'm just glad more and more people are coming along to this narrative here because it seemed clear to me half a decade ago. But however, as a larger portion of Bitcoin's 21 million fixed supply is already in circulation, each halving has a progressively smaller relative impact. This is the key phrase. The relative impact keeps diminishing. This raises questions about whether supply shocks alone can continue to dominate the cycle. And I always called it a double deflation. It was a double deflationary narrative. First deflation, Bitcoin rewards are cut in half. All right, so you're deflating your power right there. The second half of the double deflation comes from, all right, you're selling your mining stash into a stash of 5 million coins. And then you're selling into a stash of 9 million coins, 11 million coins, 12, 15, 9. So you're selling into a larger and larger pool. When you're the miner, you got you and your cronies, and you got like literally 3 million coins. And you're going into this illiquid market, and there's only 5 million coins. Boy, oh boy, do you have a huge, huge impact. But nowadays, miners and their cronies, they got like 200,000 Bitcoin. They're coming into the market of 15 million. I know there's 19 million, but you know, a giant, giant market doesn't quite make the same sense that it used to. Also, we're not getting the same extreme, unsustainable price surge. That's typically what we saw in 2025. The price has been more controlled, and a 30% decline looks like a standard bull market correction rather than the beginning of a multi-year bear market. And we got macro environment mattering more than the halvings, interest rate changes, bipartisan support for legislation, and the institutional portfolios, and even Glassnode showing a break from the classic patterns. Long-term holder supply not capitulating like they normally do. Reduced volatility despite the drawdowns. We're not getting the insane parabolic top. Maybe we don't get the insane parabolic drawdown. And ETFs reshaping supply distribution. All that kind of makes sense. But let me ask you, chat, yes or no? You gotta just black and white question. We're not going gray. Is the 4-year cycle dead? Go. What do you got? Is it a yes? Is it a no? Oh man. It's like if we top October 6th and we don't get a top for 3-4 years, yeah, I mean it's definitely real, but I really, really feel like we can exceed $126,000 sometime over the next 9 months. I really do feel like it is done. All right, let's see here. First one, yes, it's dead. Dead, not dead. Dead. It is dead. It is done. There is no more 4-year cycle. No, but it'll trickle down to alts is dead. No, don't say it's not dead for the altcoins, or it is dead rather. No, yes. I would say we're about 60% yeses here. No, it's monthly cycle. You son of a gun. You got me to click it. No, just delayed. Okay. So at what point does delay become dead? I would say 5 year. We'll allow it. 6 year. I would say it's dead. Last time was awesome. There is 2 cycles. Okay, dead. All right. So a lot of people, we got a little bit of a mixed bag here. Elvis is dead. I don't know, man. I think I saw him at the mall the other day. He looked a little heavy set. He was a little gray. He was a little ashen, if I'm going to be honest. But I think it was him. I'm not sure. We do have a Bitcoin reserve bill coming. We covered the bill, but there was one thing that I missed, so I wanted to attach I think they meant to say attach. Paying taxes in Bitcoin becomes allowed with no capital gains attache. So you don't get a briefcase. You don't get an attache case of capital gains. No capital gains attached. So that is a very, very good part of that bill. Also, CFTC announcing a pilot program to be for Bitcoin to be used as collateral in derivatives markets. Now you'll hear narratives like, oh, the derivatives markets is 300 trillion. And that is kind of true, but that doesn't apply to derivatives markets with regulated US exchanges. It's actually like a very, very small piece of the pie when you look at derivatives markets in total. In total, it's a lot of central banks moving a lot of things. They create the vast majority of the volume for derivatives markets, but this is still very bullish. Bitcoin being used as collateral is just going to open up a lot more money for BlackRock's IBIT for the Bitcoin ETF, which essentially does equal a lot of buy pressure for Bitcoin. So that is going to be good. Speaking of banks, this is huge. 410 top 10 bank, number 8 bank PNC Bank. Don't type in what bank you go to, but some of you folks are going to be using this bank. Don't put any personal information like that. All right, give me your routing number. No, don't do that. But PNC Bank is going to partner with Coinbase to offer direct Bitcoin trading for clients. The first bank among the major U.S. banks. Now, we have seen other banks. SoFi is a bank that did that, but SoFi is a top 50 bank. But now we're talking about a top 10 bank. This is huge. This is huge. My account number, stop giving. I don't want your account number unless it's, I guess, all right, everybody, go deposit $1 at your local ATM. You guys watching the live charts, things are pumping on the hourly here. Let's go to the 5-minute. Let's go ahead and hide this parallel channel that is signifying the end of our flag. Oh my God, my Cardano long is just going phenomenal right now. My Cardano long that we got in the Discord trading signals chat is just going nuts. It's going nuts. And it actually came in, quote unquote, late into the pump. It was between like 7 and 7:30. And I remember looking at it, and the RSI didn't look overheated. The RSI I was looking at the RSI on the 5-minute. I was like, well, I think I must have been right. Yeah, it must have been before this peak right there, because this wasn't there yet. And I was like, God, we don't have bearish divergences on the 5-minute. All right, how long? And I don't remember. I think I did like 16x, 16 times 6. You're looking at 100% gain. So we're up 100% in our Cardano trade. And I didn't put the take profit because I was like, I don't know what midnight's going to do. So hopefully I head home and I'm still in profit. Now, normally I would not always take profit, stop losses. Always do that stuff. Always do that stuff, folks. All right, now let's get into the next story here. We have other big bank news. Michael Saylor said the following U.S. banks are now issuing credit against Bitcoin: Citibank, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BNY, Charles Schwab, Bank of America. Very good chance one of you folks, some of you folks, a high percentage of you guys are using one of these banks. Maybe just give me a, you don't got to say no, but give me a why if you do use one of these 6 banks, and then DM me your account number. Don't do that. Don't do that. Boomers love XRP, and I don't get why. Unit bias is, all right, I do study persuasion, and XRP is fascinating from a persuasion standpoint. From a persuasion standpoint, off the top of my head, I would say 2 things really going for XRP. From a persuasion standpoint, for when you're looking at making an investment, there's 2 things persuading people. Number 1 is unit bias. People would rather have 100 of something versus a fraction of something. So it has the unit bias going for it. Number 2, to me, would be social proof. Social proof, an example is 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste. So you have the social proof that, well, 90% of dentists like it, so that means I must like it. And also celebrity endorsements can follow under that. So yeah, XRP is got strong persuasion. What's my take on Injective? Straight into the veins, ice cold. Injective, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. It is a popular coin. I want to say it's based on Solana, correct? Here, let's look here. Do a little Injective. It's been a while since I've looked at Injective, if I'm going to be honest here. Injective, smart contract. No, it's on ETH. Osmosis, BNB. That's what I was thinking. Osmosis chain. All right, Terra. Well, they hitched their wagon to the wrong horse back in 22. That's for sure. Let's just go to the max. Market cap, max. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason. It does look like they've got a lot of news lately, but that news is not translating into jack all when it comes to the price. So I'm going to talk about on just slower moving alts in a second. So I'll share my broader assessment on how I feel about that. Let's see here. I'm ready for a solid H-bar pump. Haven't you got enough pumps? You guys got enough pump. You should have sold December 2024. That's what I say. Let's see here. Yes, Lincoln Swift is likely, but I wonder if any more coins will get in that mix. I got the death knell for XRP in a little bit. XRP. You guys got me talking XRP. Bitcoin ETFs, they're now underwater from the average prices, the average purchase price for all 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs. I would like to see a separate chart just for IBIT, aka BlackRock, but it's at the average purchasing price for ETF. Very, very important level. Does need to hold this level. Does look like a lot of Bitcoin leaving exchanges. 400K have left exchanges since the past year. a positive sign for the market. This is since December 7th, 2024, and it's about 2% of the total supply. Oftentimes, they'll move Bitcoin from exchanges into cold storage, which in theory makes it harder to sell, could, be bullish price-wise. We want to share this. This is just the 12 months, and now 6% of Bitcoin supply on exchanges. And my eyeballs are so bad. I'm trying to see. Okay, it was 8%. So from 8% to 6%, 25% reduction there. So pretty good. This is very bullish. If you are in stocks, shout out to Circle Stock. I'll check Circle Stock in a second. Circle just got a big announcement in Abu Dhabi, but stock markets are about to rip. Maybe stocks should have been in your altcoins all along. When the Fed cut interest rates within 2% of the all-time high, S&P finishes higher the next 12 months, 20 out of 20 times, 100% hit rate. So you can say, all right, bear market. I don't see it, folks. How is Circle doing after the Abu Dhabi announcement here? Yeah, we'll take that, baby. We'll take that. We jumped in. I think 74 was the last purchase. So we jumped in sometime on maybe the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So we've been in, and I jumped in a little early. 81. I think we jumped in at 81. Let's zoom out. Okay. You see what I'm kind of looking at here. It kept declining. It kept declining. I think we're 81 and 74 for our Circle stock purchases. That's giving us an average price, just actually I got more at, let's just say 77. I'm not sure. But 77. Yeah, we're up. We're up pretty decently, about 12%, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 15%. I think Circle is going to be a good one, folks. I am bullish on Circle. Give me your stock tickers. What stocks are you buying? Are you copying Dave Portnoy? I hope not. Are you listening to Caleb Franzen? That's maybe a little bit better. If you have any hot picks, and don't do some weird penny stock, okay? Every time I ask this, I get weird, shitty penny stocks. I don't want some stock that doesn't even make any sense. All right, MicroStrategy. Let's see here. Chain. Okay, that's not it. Got an IPO, took profit at 205. Great job on taking profits on the Circle IPO. Is there a level you would buy Dreamula? I'm interested. Is there a level which you're like, all right, now it's time to get in? GME. We always like people that are like the meme stocks. Nothing wrong with some meme stocks there. Let's see here. All right, AVAX. Salt. What's Salt? I like the name of that one. Coin. We're in Coin. I have Coin, Apple, Amazon, Tesla. So I'm trying to increase my exposure to Tesla and Circle specifically. So those are the two that I am most bullish on. But yeah, we have some Coin. We have some other ones there as well. Now let's talk about alts. You guys said, all right, what are you seeing in the altcoin charts? Well, this is good. Bitcoin dominance keeps hitting the same rejection it did in 2021. Last time, alts went parabolic. Will this time be any different, folks? So what they're looking at is the 50-week moving average on the weekly candles. And if you look, this is what they're talking about. Last time we hit this point, we rejected. I think it looks a little cleaner on regular candles. Probably why. Yeah, boom, 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 rejection. Huge alt season. Your alts did incredible. That's how you got that, massive gain on your Solana, on your Polygon, on your Cardano, on your you name it. You got your ETH at 200. It went to 2,000 real quickly here. This was a rejection off the 50-week moving average, and we got an alt season. I wanted to show you this, though. It looks even better. You can also see the same thing leading into the OGs of alt seasons here when ETH did go from like $100 to $1,000. You can see also rejected off the 50-week moving average. Let's go back to today, see what it looks like. That does look very good. And I like seeing that red weekly candle coming down. Now, we're only 1.5 days into this weekly candle. I still say that's bullish. Takes us into the altcoins here. Cardano with another head and shoulders. So we covered some of the other previous head and shoulders. This is a bullish one. Oh, wow. Might be a time to maybe take some profits if you are in that long. God, I'm about to call the wife and say, all right, I need you getting me out of this trade here. Well, what do I do? I sold all our Bitcoin. No! So maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just ride the trade till I get home. Babe, I sold all this thing called Chainlink. That's good, right? No, it's not. All right, this is giving us a nice little target, 55 cents. Let's talk about that previous head and shoulders. This thing played out to a T, folks, to a T. Where do we got? Boom, right here. This is the inverse head and shoulders. This gives us a bearish target. And you could do it from, oh, I'm bullish, so I want to come from here. But, you can also do it, give yourself the bearish target, come in from the low range. Look at this, chat. Look at that. Look at that. Came down, played out. This target played out. So now I'm feeling maybe this target's going to play out. Now, that's a lot larger head and shoulders compared to this one. We're using the 2-hour chart. This is the daily chart, or daily chart head and shoulders. We don't see it quite. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll take it. We got a little head and shoulders chart there. Oh, wow. The head size is the same? No, okay. I was about to say that's the head size there. All right, so Cardano looking a little bullish. And folks, if you do have ADA and you self-custody, stake at DZ Stake Pool. All right, you're gonna get midnight rewards. You're getting the night token as soon as it hits the mainnet and the rewards start hitting the blocks. We are already ready. We are geared up, ready to fire off. So if you have some Cardano, you have it on a wallet, go to stake. Go to pools, type in DZ, go to DZ Stake Pool. Looks like over 100 of you guys have joined the movement. You've joined the movement, and we're creating something larger than ourselves. Midnight is launching, in the thaw phase is starting soon. I did recommend you guys go get that stuff going, get it going. I don't know if we have it on. Do we have it on here? Oh, we do. Ugh, dump. All right, so I had like 1,000 free tokens. Don't tell the boss, man. I minted like 1,000 on the work computer. That was $50. Now it's $37. Hey, I'll take a free $37. Is there a level I'm buying? I mean, I'm buying a penny. I did see some order books. A lot of money coming in at 2 cents. A lot of money coming in at 1 cent. So I don't think it'll hit those levels. There's whales ready to scoop that stuff up. But now I did say I want to talk about injective and altcoins, kind of, just overall. I like this post from Virtual Bacon yesterday. I've sold most underperforming alts, not calling the top, just being cautious. Liquidity is tight, and until real liquidity returns, he's consolidating and he's protecting capital. I've been doing the same thing. I have been shrinking some of these outlier altcoins, really tightening up the portfolio, put most of this in the DZ portfolio. Some of it is just like, oh God, it was like a small bag. Maybe I was just like playing around with a VeChain wallet, and I had like a bunch of VeChain on an NFT. Maybe I sell that, and so I don't have every single sale, but I've been consolidating. What is an altcoin you have dumped lately? Maybe to buy more Bitcoin, maybe to buy more Chainlink. I've recently divested half of my Ondo and Athena. So I think I'm still in half of both of those. So I've been just consolidating, buying more Chainlink, buying more Bitcoin, buying stablecoin. Nothing wrong with buying stablecoin. So I'm wondering what you guys have been getting rid of here, folks. Virtual Bacon has the worst calls. He was bullish too long, but Virtual Bacon's always right in a bull market. Maybe not the best during a bear market, but no, I'll admit, I smoked what he was given when it came to modular blockchains because the guy is a developer. And I was like, okay, well, he's talking about these canisters and, interoperability and how this technology is needed. And I'm like, listen to this guy, he's a developer. And he's like, yeah, I'm in the trenches with the developers. And this is what they're telling me. And I'm like, oh man, this guy says modularity is important. And it was just a big marketing ploy. And he fell for it and I fell for it too. I wouldn't say he's a schmuck though. Wouldn't say he's just smoke. Yeah, go stake, folks. Go stake. I do appreciate the love. Yeah, we did show the chart there. Sold my Uruguay tokens for D's nuts. Okay. If you have any Paraguay, let me know if you have that. Okay, so someone say, yeah, man, I said your name, Big Drita. I said your name. Should have sold all the Ondos, sold some World Liberty Fi. We didn't have World Liberty Fi spot. We had the 2X. And then, like, as soon as we got close to break even, we just ended up closing that there. Aerodrome. A lot of the people here are just so bullish on Aerodrome. I've been holding on to my Aerodrome. I took some profits way back, like in 24, but anything lately here, folks. The ETH whale. This is that insider guy. He's you go in Arkham, he has a lot of Bitcoin, but he also, longs a lot of ETH. I didn't have time to jump into Hyperliquid to check. Normally, we literally go and check his trades there live. I didn't quite have time, but he is in a gigantic ETH long. Might be an insider there, folks. Might be an insider. Now, I did say I had bad news for XRP. This is my bad news for XRP. It does not mention XRP, but to me, this is not great for XRP. BMW tapping JP Morgan for the first on-chain programmable foreign exchange payment. And so they're using JP Morgan's blockchain, the Connexus Digital Payments Network. And so they're going to be using this. So if you're a British citizen and you want to buy a BMW with dollars or vice versa, you're American, but you're going to be, you need your car in Europe. This allows basically a intermittency. That allows the payments to kind of translate across currencies here. Isn't this what XRP was trying to do? Didn't XRP say everyone's going to use our payment rails? Well, why? Liquidity. Okay. Well, don't you think JP Morgan can make their own liquidity? Shut up. That's kind of vibes I got. Now, I'm not saying it's over for XRP, but when I saw this, maybe I'm tuned to it. I was like, well, that's not good news for XRP. That's kind of their business model. It's like they want banks to use their product. So why wouldn't they want a BMW or a gigantic car manufacturer that's international? Why wouldn't they want these international companies to also use XRP? Because if JP Morgan was supposed to use XRP, it would make sense that Tesla or BMW or Chevrolet, a large, I'm trying to think anything over $5,000, Rolex, luxury goods, Hermes, Dolce & Gabbana, like these people would want to use XRP. Like, oh yeah, you only got US dollars, but you're in our Paris location. Boom, go to our XRP portal. Guess what? It's inside of our cash register. That's just not what we end up seeing in it. I'm a little bit bearish. But now let me be bullish. I want to give you both sides here, folks. You're always bearish. Well, here's some bullish news for XRP. They're the fastest crypto ETF to hit 1 billion. Oh, no, they're not. They're after Ethereum, but still bullish. They're the fastest crypto ETF to hit 1 billion assets under management since Ethereum, achieving it in under 4 weeks. So someone said in the chat earlier, boomers love XRP. We know, and we could tell, and the inflows are proving it. Tonight, I'm going to do a deep dive on Jack Mallers' 21 Capital. I'm seeing a lot of, I don't say noise about here's the kind of what people are saying. There's potential for 21 to become a public-private partnership in which they would be the Bitcoin arm of the U.S. government. They say SoftBank Stargate set a precedence for this. That's a conglomeration of the U.S. government, OpenAI, and Oracle. And saying 21 could be also like a governmental conglomeration that leads to more demand for U.S. treasuries, but having a little Bitcoin-backed exposure. Now, I'm going to do a deep dive, share my thoughts on this. Is this something there, or is this just a big nothing burger? I will share those thoughts in the upload, folks. But I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you now. Let's see here. Read some of your comments here. Southeast Asia loves XRP. Most popular coin over there. I would say Tron. But it is used for Korean and Taiwanese remittance payments. So I give you that. But I don't know if they touch Tron's volume. Tron's volume for USDT, I think, vastly dwarfs XRP's volume over there in that specific region of Asia. So even like the most bullish subsection of the globe, you're like, this is the XRP area. You're like, yeah, but they're using Tron USDT more over there. So what are we even talking about? This is the FOMC pump. You're ready for the dump. If you want to answer my question on Aether, what do you think of ICP? I did not see your Aether question or Aether. What do I think of ICP? ICP is a very strong community, but that price, I know there's nuance to the ICP price. I know that there's, allegations of they got screwed by FTX, and it's their fault that the price looks like this, and there were some tokens they weren't supposed to touch, and then they sold and it just ruined us, but now we're recovering and we're strong. I don't know if people are going to look at that when they look at the price. I think people are going to look at this. So that's tough, man. That's tough. You don't want to end up like an XRP guy in 2019 where we finally break the downtrend 6 years later. I love the community. I love the name. I think it's marketable. The team is smart, but just price-wise, I don't think a lot of people love that. It's alt season, December. We did look at the Bitcoin dominance, and it does look very bullish. It does look like we are rejecting. And again, we're only a day and a half in that weekly candle, but it does look good. Michael Saylor is famous for taking boomers' money to buy more Bitcoin. Bitcoin is scary for a lot of people. And so if you forget these 12 words, you lose your money forever. They're like, I'm out forever. We say, oh yeah, but you could buy MicroStrategy stock. Oh, okay, I'll do that. So that's going to be attractive to some segment. Everything is pumping. We love to see it here. Why is Bitcoin pumping right now? 21, 21, 21. We told you yesterday, 21 Capital is probably going to create a green day. Typically on a large IPO day, you do get a nice green candle. Not every time, but typically, I think it was a Kraken or Gemini. So one of them, like it didn't quite follow through, but it was a smaller market cap. But if you look most of the time, big crypto IPO day on stock exchange, big Bitcoin day for price action here. I don't money go to the gym, even good to whole, or have even good to whole week. What are you even saying there? I don't have enough money to go to the gym or even have good to whole week. Thanks, US. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're blaming us. We'll do some push-ups, do some standing squats. Okay, boom, problem solved. Now, does it solve the CIA messing with your country? No, it doesn't. But you know what? You got to start somewhere. DZ say ETH, just testing something. ETH, Ethereum, Ether. The coin is called Ether. XRP shorts are going to drive the price up. Let's look. GRT, they're the reverse Chainlink. Chainlink takes data off chain, puts it on chain. And then we have GRT, the graph. They take data on chain and they take it off chain. I swallow that hook, line, and sinker in 2021. And maybe even a couple years ago, I was like, I think this is good. But when it comes to revenue, they're just not quite where you want to be. What are we going to look at there? XRP, the liquidations. Let's pull up XRP liquidations. Don't tell me I can't pull it up. Don't tell me I can't get it up. The website specifically. Let's go to symbol. Let's go to XRP. Go to 12 hour. And let's see. Holy let's go to 24 hour. Let's go to 1 week. Okay. I would say, yeah, it cleared that, man. It cleared the heavy liquidation range, which is right there at 213. And it looks like there's another one at 222. 222. Camera cut to Taylor Swift. All right. On the weekly, we're still in that range, but it looks like we're trying to break out. Hey, we're trying to break out. We're breaking on through, baby. Breaking on through. What was that? 222. So that's going to be the liquidity pocket that's from November 24th. And so that's going to be the next stop for the bull charge. But very interesting. This came exactly to the parallel range that we established a long time ago. And so XRP facing some stiff resistance. And I'm feeling the stiff resistance on you not hitting the like button. So hit that like button on the way out. I do appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. 21 Capital. Honestly, I didn't want to cover too much of it because I want to see how the stock trades. Let me watch the stock for a couple hours. Let me dive into the financials. Let me explore the possibility of a Bitcoin-backed U.S. Treasury. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but let me look into it and turn on notifications. Tune in later on tonight and smash that like button on the way out, folks. I do appreciate it. Cardano was front running. Now you front run that like button. That's all.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.